So today, the auspicious day of Diwali, when Lord Ramachandra returns back to Ayodhya after 14 years of exile. So basically, we briefly just go through the story of Ramayana. So there was a king in Ayodhya called Dashrath. He had 4 sons, Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughan, who were divine sons, obedient. And Ram was a personification of Maryada. And then they grew up, they went to the hermitage to learn all the different arts. And then when they came back, after a few years, the Maharaj decided to appoint Ram as the next king. So he announced that, the next day, Ram will be coronated king. Then everyone was happy, even Kaikai was happy, but Mantra was the only one in the whole kingdom who was not happy. Okay, Nabi, you can get it.
No, you're doing a good job. Go on. Carry on.
Go on.
Okay. So Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.
Prabhuji, you are banned. You are punished now.
Detention today.
You need to.
No prasad for it.
They promoted us in the school and banned us from home.
Yes, yes.
So yes, this is quite a pastime because KK and Ramachandra, they were very close. I think Ramachandra's relationship with KK was even closer than with Kaushalya. And that's one of the reasons why this pastime actually took place, because Ramachandra, this is one of the untold stories of Ramayana. Ramachandra asked KK, you will have to do something like this to take me out of this kingdom, because I have to do so many things in the forest, and there's nobody else who I can rely on to banish me into the forest. And KK was shocked. What do you mean? What do I have to do? If you love me, then you will arrange this so that I have to go to the forest. So I know we always take KK as the bad character, the bad one. And funny thing is, yesterday, one of the children asked me in the school that, who is your favorite character? And somehow, I don't know why, but I just said the mother who banished them. And they were all surprised. What do you mean? Because she loved Ram so much. There was nobody closer to Ram than her, apart from Sita, of course. But and Ram requested her to do this, and it broke her heart, but she did it so that Ram could continue with his pastimes, And she's always forever considered a terrible person, but actually there's a great deal of love between her and Ram, which manifested later. So when Dashrath heard what KK demanded, he was completely devastated. The thought of Ram being away for 14 years completely finished him. He never recovered. He passed away in that condition. And that was as a result of a curse from the father and mother of Shravan Kumar, who one time Dashrath Maharaj was in the forest hunting. Kshatriyas are allowed to hunt so that they can sharpen their skills of warfare. And unfortunately, he shot. He was thinking he was shooting an animal, a deer, but he actually shot Shravan Kumar and he killed him. And he went to his father and mother, who were blind, and they were carried by Shravan Kumar everywhere. And he apologized. He told them that this terrible mistake has happened. And they cursed him that you will die in the same way that we're going to die, away from our son. And the fruit of that reaction manifested when Ramachandra left for the forest and he passed away. It's a really tragic situation. But of course, Dashrath is the eternal associate of the Lord. Thinking of Ram, he returned back to the spiritual world. And Sita, she said to Ram, I'm coming with you. And Ram said, well, you're not part of the equation in the sense that you haven't been banished. You can stay in the palace. I'll come back very soon. But she's extremely loyal to Ram. And she said, no, I will be joining you. And Ram tried a great deal to persuade her, look, stay in the palace. There's so many wild animals in the forest. It's so dangerous. How will we survive there? How will you survive there? We don't know what we'll be eating, where we'll be sleeping. We're going barefoot. So many thorns are there. But Sita Mata was extremely focused on serving Lord Ramachandra. Her loyalty is second to none. So she joined him. And then Lakshman, he also said to Ram, I'm coming with you. I want to serve you. You're my worshipable deity. I can't live without you for 14 years. And I will look out. I will serve you in the best capacity that I can. So Ramachandra accepted his seva. And he was so glorious. He didn't sleep for 14 years. And his wife, forgotten her name. What was her name? Naniben?
Urmila.
Urmila. Yeah, well done. Thank you. Urmila said to Lakshman, you can go. She was gracious, and I will sleep, and you make sure you don't sleep and serve Ram. So she slept for 14 years. He served for 14 years. So what a deal that was. So a lot of other things went on here. Anything else, Nani Ben or anybody else like to share?
And the story of that when we're crossing they
Kevat.
want to cross the river, isn't it?
Kevat. Yeah.
Kevat, yes, that is a famous story, isn't it?
Oh, I don't have it. Yeah, that's right. That's a really amazing. You want to say that? You want to tell us the story?
I'm not too sure. I think, and what one thing I know is that when they left Ayodhya, the whole of the city followed them.
This is Gadadhar. He came to the schools today, and he played the Madanga. He explained a little bit about the Madanga as well, and he was really good. So thank you so much, Gadadhar. Sorry, Naniben?
I think when they left Ayodhya, the whole of the people of Ayodhya followed them.
Ah, yes.
And isn't it? There is the river, and at that time, Ram said the only way to stop these people following us if we cross the river at the night time.
Good.
And there's something called Kevat comes in, and he sort of they get onto his boat and then they cross away the river so that the villagers are left behind.
Yeah.
But there's some other thing about Kevat which I don't remember, Prabhuji.
Yeah, he was really intelligent. He said to Lord Ramachandra, I have to wash your feet.
Yes.
And Lord Ramachandra said, I don't let anybody wash my feet. Yeah. So, well, if you don't wash your feet, I'm not going to let you on the boat. Why?
Yes.
He said, why? Because I know what you do. You've turned stone into Ahalya one time. And I've already got a daughter. I don't want another daughter. If you touch my boat, you're going to turn it into a daughter. So I'm going to wash your feet. And of course, that was his way of serving the Lord and his lovely way of, getting the mercy of the Lord by pleasing him, by washing his feet. That's really a very powerful pastime. Anything else, Daniel?
No, I think one other thing is that when the Lakshmana was serving them, he never looked at Sita Mataji's face. He always looked at her feet and serving her. And when she was abducted by Ravan, they found an anklet. And then he realized that this belongs to Sita Ma. But he never looked at her face because he wouldn't recognize her by the face, but he recognized the anklet which was worn by Sita Ma.
Because Ramachandra would show him the earrings and whatever else they
Necklace.
found, right? Necklace.
Yeah.
And he would say, I don't know. Why are you asking me?
Yeah.
And Ram would say, why don't you know? Why? I never looked at her face. He was so loyal, so loyal. Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. Huh? That's really good. Okay, then of course, the pastime with Supankar took place, where her nose was cut off. The sister of Ravan, she complained to Ravan that there's such, this has happened to me, and there's such a beautiful woman that actually belongs to you. It shouldn't belong to Ram. And Ravan got attracted, and he sent Marichi as the deer, golden deer, to entice Ram and Lakshman away from Sita, which all succeeded. And then Ravan came on the scene to kidnap. And actually, this is a really important pastime, because the deer took Ram away, and then Sita was insisting on Lakshman to go to help Ram, and he wouldn't go because Ram had instructed him to stay and protect Sita. And she got so angry with him, and she started saying some really terrible things to Lakshman. And his tolerance level is normally 0. He gets angry at the slightest provocation. But in this situation, he didn't get angry because he understood Sita Mata is just upset. She's saying these terrible things, but I understand why you're saying this. So this is a really phenomenal, for me, it's a really important example, because I get fired up very quickly as well. So
he presses the pause button
presses
and
the
thinks,
pause button.
why is she acting like this?
Yeah, that's really. And when we go to schools, we give this as an example. Somebody may say something horrible to you, but just do what Lakshman did. He remained cool as a cucumber, and they all have a good laugh, but it's an very interesting point.
And Sita Mata, when she crosses the Lakshman, you're going to come to that. It's not the real Sita.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah. So now Ravan comes on the scene. He's disguised himself as a sage, begging for food, and he's very crafty. He entices Sita out of that Lakshman Rekha area. But when she crosses the Lakshman Rekha area, actually what happens, it's a very significant move at that time, because Agni Dev apparently comes and takes the real Sita to his palace in the heavens and replaces her with Maya Sita. And this has been established by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because there was one Brahmin who was so upset. How can Ravan capture Sita? He was so upset. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to him, actually, eventually he found this verse in one of the Puranas, how Sita Mata was taken by Agni. And he came back to that Brahmin and told him, don't worry, Sita was not captured. Don't worry, it was the illusionary Sita. So that pacified that Brahmin, of the devotee. But anyway, this crazy fellow kidnaps Sita, and Jatayu comes to fight. He knows he's going to lose, but it didn't matter. He delayed the kidnapping of Sita by 48 minutes. And that was very significant, because he put that kidnapping into a different muhurta, which meant that Ravan would not be successful in the end. But his 48 minutes gave him liberation. 48 minutes of service to Ram was all he needed to do to get liberation. And then Ram came and found Jatayu, who told him what happened. And he died, and Ramachandra performed his funeral rites like he would have done for Dashrath Maharaj, but couldn't. So this is Ramachandra's sweetness is so enticing to make us fall in love with him. Such an amazing personality. And Guru Maharaj was very keen on the example which Lord Ramachandra set for the whole world. And he would often recite to us the Ramayana, different aspects of the Ramayana, different aspects of the character of Ram, to also instill these principles left by Ram. Amazing, actually. And Jayanti's favorite slide is Ravan never goes to a restaurant to eat because he gets charged per head. He's got 10 heads, so he has to pay a lot of money. But he's only got one stomach. So he should have asked for 10 stomachs as well. Then he would have got a good deal. So in the search for Sita, they came across the divine personality of Hanuman. We call him monkey, but actually he's not a monkey. So he's a celestial person. He's a demigod. He's the greatest servant of Lord Ram. He recognized Ram immediately. And we use this picture as an example in schools, explaining that when you meet the elders, the teachers, and the parents, you should always seek their blessings and good wishes, because these good wishes are very powerful. And one way to do that is by touching the feet of those personalities, which is what Hanuman is doing here, getting the blessings of Ram. And of course, he introduced Ram to Sugriv, and Sugriv agreed to help Lord Ramachandra in his battles to find Sita. And then Hanuman eventually found Sita. This is a huge pastimes as to how he did this. And when he found Sita, he didn't approach her immediately, because he knew he'd scare Sita, and Sita would never believe that he's Ramachandra's servant. So he was reciting the Ramayana. He was reciting Ram's glories from a tree. And Sita was listening, thinking, who is reciting the glories of Ram? She couldn't see anybody. So eventually, slowly, he introduced himself as the servant of Ram. And Sita Mata became very happy. And he could have rescued her immediately, but she wouldn't. She said, I can't jump on your back because I've never touched another man voluntarily. So Ram is my only worshipable deity. But I would like you to go back to Ram. Tell him to come very soon. If he doesn't, I will give up my body. And she gave him a time deadline as well, I think. He's got 5 minutes to come and save me. Well, I think it was about 100 days or something like that. Anyway, then Hanuman agreed, and he did his nice naughty pastimes in Lanka, set Lanka alight. He knew that he couldn't do too much mischief. Ramachandra would get annoyed. But when they set his tail on fire,
He used that.
yeah, he said, this is my license to kill.
Or destroy.
Yeah, and he went all over Lanka, destroyed Lanka completely. Then he could say to Ram, they put my tail on fire.
I just jump around. I'm a
yeah,
monkey.
and I'm a monkey. I jump around. What else do you want me to do? It's my nature. And then reaching Ram, there was again a whole lot of pastimes took place. How they reached Ram, and how he called out, "Found her, found her." First words,
No, Sita, I found.
Sita found.
Found.
Yeah. He's so intelligent. He wanted Ramachandra to be assured, Sita. And then they marched to the ocean, Rameshwar. And this time they couldn't fly across because the monkey army wasn't so powerful. So they built a bridge of stones and rocks, writing the name of God, Ram, on every stone, which made the stone float. And this is one of the most instructive pastimes. You can see here, there's a little squirrel who's taking little pebbles. And this is, again, the sweetness of Ram comes through. Because Hanuman said to the squirrel, just step out of the way, young man, because I'm going to step on you otherwise. I've got these big boulders and rocks to put on the ocean. And then Ramachandra corrected him. No, Hanuman, don't say that to this wonderful servant of mine. He's as important as you are, because even though his pebbles may be little, his effort is giving his full effort like you are. So he's as important as you are. And he was, wasn't he? Because what did he do?
His pebbles are filling all the holes.
Little gaps.
Yeah, little gaps.
So, but in both ways, Ramachandra covered this squirrel's service. He backed it up. So this shows us that even when we possibly do for God, nothing, we're useless. But if we try to do anything with our sincerity and our effort, he'll accept it. This is the sweetness of Ram. This is so, so sweet. One of my favorite pastimes in Ramayana, actually. A few years ago, we went to this Rameshwar place. Beautiful. Beautiful holy place. And these stones are still there, you know, they float. So Parth picked up this big, large stone, heavy, put it on some water and it floated. So we always tell the kids that this is actually what happened. And it did. And that's how they made the bridge, crossed over. Then they had a formidable army. This is Hanuman this side, Jambavan this side, Ram, Lakshman. This is a phenomenal army. And they had an amazing battle with the 9 days. Again, so many different leelas, pastimes took place. Ram, Lakshman, they fainted, and then Lakshman fainted, and Hanuman brought the Sanjeevani mountain. So many things happened. Indrajit was a really brave warrior, and he was eventually defeated by the process of and Kumbhakaran, yeah. So many pastimes. How eventually then Ramachandra defeated the demon. And I always tell the kids that God doesn't have to fight, right? Because he's got so many servants who will do it on his behalf. But he wants to fight. Sometimes he likes to fight, but he can't fight in the spiritual world. He has to come to our world. So he brings with him a very special devotee. This demon is not a demon. He's actually a devotee of the Lord, brought specially to this world to fight with the Lord. And they had a tremendous fight. And eventually the Lord defeated him with a magical arrow. Shot into his belly button. That always gives kids a good laugh. And Vibhishan, another brother of Ram, he played an amazing role. When he first heard about Ram, he was in awe and reverence. And he realized this is God. So he wallpapered his whole home, Rama. Ravan came to his home one time and said, what the heck is going on here? He's my enemy and you got his name all over the walls. And Vibhishan was so clever. He said, no, this isn't about Ram. This is about you. Ra means Ravan and Ma means Mandodari.
Okay.
And Ravan was so happy.
He told the whole city to be painted with those names.
He said to the wallpaper maker, make millions of rolls and give it to every householder. They should plaster this on their walls. Rama. So Vibhishan was really fantastic. And when he first came before Ram, everybody thought this is a spy who's come. This is somebody who's going to be bad news for us. And Ramachandra asked the opinion of I think Sugriv. They said, kill him. He's the brother of Ravan. And Ram said, no, he's come to surrender. Even if once somebody chants the name of Ram, I will give him shelter. So this is again the sweetness of Ram. Such a sweet personality, you know? So, and
Did
Vibhishan was
Ravan achieve salvation? Did he?
Ravan?
Huh?
Yes. He's Jay and Vijay, one of them.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. They come from the spiritual world. Yeah. And they went back, of course, enriched by these wonderful pastimes. And of course, Sita was rescued, and then, you know, there was the fire sacrifice yajna that she went through, where the real Sita was brought back by Agni. She had to go, and Lakshman, when he was asked to do the fire pyre for Sita, he was livid. He was angry. Why? How can you possibly doubt the chastity of Sita? He was really angry at Ram, but he couldn't say a word because he was the younger brother. With tears in his eyes, he followed the instruction and constructed the fire and asked Sita to go through it. That broke his heart. And at that time he said, right, this is it. Next time I come as the older brother. I don't want to do what Ram tells me to do. I don't like this. He loved Sita very much, you know. So, but of course, the reason was that the real Sita came back at that time. Ramachandra knew that. I'm not going to stay with Maya Sita. She's not with me. I want my real Sita back. And then a few days later, it was time for them to return back. Another one, so many Leelas took place here. And of course, the Leela we are celebrating today, a pastime, is Diwali, where the citizens of that land, they're missing Ram. They know he's coming back. It's Amavasya, no moon. How will our Lord find his way back? So they lit these lamps throughout the kingdom. On the streets, in the park, gardens, homes, everywhere, millions of lamps. And Ramachandra was very pleased because he could see that they wanted him back. Because he said to Hanuman, go beforehand, check it out in Ayodhya, what it's like. And if you think that Bharat for one moment will regret my return back to Ayodhya, and he wants to continue to rule, please let me know. I will let him do that. See again the sweetness of Ram. Sweetness of Ram. But of course, Hanuman, when he met Bharat, Bharat was waiting for Ramachandra. He made a promise to Ram. If you're 1 minute late, I will kill myself. I promise you that. And he was still in that same mood. When is Ram coming?
And Bharat never returned to he stayed outside Ayodhya, isn't it? He stayed in a small kutir.
Yes, that's correct.
Outside
As
Ayodhya.
Ram would have
Yes.
lived, he lived. Yeah, eating barley cooked with the cow urine and sleeping on the floor and so many other. And you know, he had to take bath early in the morning, like 3 in the morning, he would go to Sarayu to bathe. Because if he went later and the citizens were there, they would be cursing him. They would be throwing stones at him. So he went early. He lived a life of real austerity for 14 years. Cursed by the whole kingdom, really. Because they blamed him. For Kaikeyi's misdeeds, they blamed him. So really he was ecstatic when they came back. And as was Kaikeyi. There she is, really dying for him to come back. And the first person Ramachandra went to was Kaikeyi to pay his pranams. Such a glorious, sweet person. So Diwali is the return of Lord Ramachandra back to his beloved Ayodhya and the beloved kingdom. And he was crowned king, I believe, the day after he returned. and they ruled for a long time. Of course, there was other pastimes that took place where Sita was sent to the jungle in the care of Valmiki Rishi. These are really, really heartbreaking pastimes.
Sita Ma suffered a lot, isn't it?
Mm,
Sita Ma, all this jungle, going to the fire, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
abandoned, and then had to go to the jungle, and then
Yep.
eventually gave up this life by asking Mother Earth to give way for her. She had a very tough life.
She did. She did, yeah. But she was so virtuous,
Mm,
so virtuous, and completely supported Ramachandra.
yes.
This is again something that Indulekha Maji shared with us, that when she found out what the citizens were saying, she said to Ram, you have to look after the kingdom. You have to let me go. You have to let me go. Because the kingdom is more important than a village. A village is more important than a person. And you have to sacrifice me. So Ramachandra was broken out. And many people accuse Ramachandra, why did you abandon your wife? Well, if he abandoned his wife, he would have married again. Because the priest would always tell him, you need a wife next to you when we're doing these yagyas. Otherwise, the yagya is not complete. So marry. And he said, no, Sita's my only. I've taken a vow, one wife. And I love Sita. No more, no one else will replace her. So he got a murti done of Sita, who would be placed next to him during the yagya. So nobody can accuse Ramachandra of abandoning anybody. So I think we can stop there. What's the time? 1:15. Anything else you'd like to add, share?
Share. One thing, if you don't remember about Hanumanji being left behind, when all the brothers, they took the, what do they say, in Saryu Nadi.
Right.
Isn't there's a story that Ram asked Hanuman to stay behind in this material world?
He's
And
still alive, around.
He's still around, yes.
Yeah.
And while they all took what I would say Samadhi in Saryu. And Hanuman Gadit, he's still there in Ayodhya, isn't it? We went there. Do you remember?
We went there. I don't remember that. Tell us, remind us.
We went to that place, Hanuman Gadi.
Oh, yes. You mean the cave, right?
No, Hanuman Gadi is like a temple.
The seat. Where was that? Remind me.
Ayodhya.
Okay, in Ayodhya. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, we went there.
Oh,
Yes.
You got a good memory.
No, because I think something happened. So many people suddenly rushed to the temple. I got nearly crushed. I held on to the arti like anything. So that's I remember.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Sitaram. Sitaram.
What a lovely name, Sitaram.
And you know, I got this name by Guru Maharaj on a Ram Navami day.
Oh my Lord.
Ram Navami.
Wow.
So Guru Maharaj was so merciful.
Yeah,
And Guru Maharaj is still here, you know, it's just saying that the time when we are his disciple and to bring us back. This is one thing. And another thing I will be saying is that Hanuman is still on this earth. Somebody saw him in Mauritius, Prabhu. And when you recite Ramayana every day, he comes and took a seat. It is not visible with your mortal eyes, but Hanuman is Hanuman. When we say Hanuman, when we chant holy name, Hanuman is here. He also chants the holy name, you know, Hare Krishna every day. It's somewhere, I think I've read somewhere that in Chaitanya Charitamrita or whatever, you know, so it's like this.
Yeah. It said that he, as long as I think Lord Ram gave him this assurance as long as my name is chanted in this world,
Yes.
you will stay here. You can stay here and look after the souls in this world.
Yeah, you're right, Prabhu. That's why, in Mauritius, most of the people, I myself, I have the deity of Hanumanji outside my house.
Right.
Mm.
So all those Hindus, excluding those impersonalism people, Arya Samaj, they are not doing. Even the Christians, they worship Hanuman.
Wow.
Right.
It's like this.
Right.
But because they have respect, to
Yeah,
this Sanatan Dharma, Only those Arya Samaj who just only criticize, but they are not wrong because they are very far. We do not criticize them because everyone reacts according to the knowledge they have been given,
Yeah. That's true. That's
You,
very good point.
you must not argue with them, give them.
Yeah.
It's like
I agree with you.
This is
Absolutely
like
right.
this.
Good attitude. Good attitude.
Yes. You just become humble. My brother is like this. My brother,
Hmm.
he is also a devotee, but not chanting the holy name. My elder brother, he was in headmaster in the primary school. Now he is retired. Like this, we're just living in Krishna consciousness. Live for Krishna and die for Krishna.
Very good. Really. I wanted to share, unless there's anything else.
Yes.
Oops, sorry. Let me just. Okay. I wanted to share Jayanti's effort today. She's got nothing to do that, lady. These are the deities. Oh, we have to put the light on today.
No, we have to put the light off.
Oh, you have to put it off. Yeah.
Very good.
No, hang on a second. Jayanti's gonna just show us. She's done a nice Ram Leela, and also Yashoda, because today also is the day when
Yes.
the Yashoda Damodar pastime took place. So here you can take that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So this is Ram,
So this is Sita
Sita,
and
Lakshman coming back
coming back.
to Ayodhya, which is full of light,
And
a lot of
there are
flowers.
people on the roof
There's
waiting.
people on the roof waiting, and there's people on the ground. The mother is there somewhere. The mothers are there somewhere. And there's Hanuman at the back as well. And he's doing his normal pranams. I really like that, actually. What you've done is a nice thing there.
And then this is
Damodar Leela.
let me just put the light on for that.
I was lucky enough to see it today, Prabhuji.
Oh, yes. No, thank you.
Beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. So this is the rope. Those are rope. Nothing can bind Krishna. So this is the day. What's that hut doing there? Is that the palace?
Yes.
The mini palace.
Wonderful. In Mauritius, Prabhu, every day there is katha by two Matajis. Two katha that is speaking about Lord Ramayana. In Ramayana, what it has been written, it is written, they just do Ramayana part. Okay.
Okay, nice.
So it's every day now, because in this period where there's the Ram Navami, all these evidence. So they are doing everything.
Yeah, that's good.
All those Hindus and this radio, the radio. You also you can choose. If I'm not telling you anything about so serious, the dues are combined Chopai every day in this period. It's very good to listen. I also read Hindi. What to be done? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, nothing else? If there's nothing else, we can stop. Ramachandra Bhagwan ki
Ki
jai.
jai.
Amuda Leela ki jai. Diwali, happy Diwali, everybody ki
Happy Diwali.
jai. Hare Krishna.